Recording Academy, Audio Interface Overview.
Hey everyone, in this video, I want to give you a brief overview of the common features you find in just about every audio interface out there. Now, as I mentioned in the gear guide, throughout the series of videos in the Recording Academy, I'm going to be using the Focusrite 2i2 4th generation. An audio interface essentially is an adapter for us. The adapter is going to sit in between our microphone and our computer. We plug our microphones, we plug our guitars into this box, and then the box plugs into our computer so that our computer can understand what's going on. So the first feature I want you to consider when you're looking at audio interfaces is what kind of connection it uses. This Scarlett 2i2 4th generation uses a USB Type-C connection. This is commonly found on the newer versions of iPhone. USB-C is pretty much all over the place lately. So if you see something with USB-C, it's usually going to be a good route to go. Now there's a big difference between USB-C and what's called Thunderbolt. So this universal audio interface has to use a Thunderbolt connection. It cannot use just a simple USB-C cable. The way that you tell the difference, if something is Thunderbolt, it has this lightning bolt on the cable. It'll have at the end of the tip, you'll see a lightning bolt. That tells me this is not just a USB-C cable, this is a Thunderbolt cable. So make sure if you're getting an audio interface, you want to look on the back of the audio interface. If it has this little lightning bolt, that means that it needs to be using a Thunderbolt cable. Now what's neat is that if you have a Thunderbolt cable, you can actually use that on USB Type-C devices. So I can take my Thunderbolt cable, I can plug it into this USB-C Focusrite Scarlett interface, and it will work. The next feature I want to talk about are the inputs. When you're buying an audio interface, you need to consider how many inputs do you need to record. For most modern recording, you can get by with 2 channels of audio. So that's going to be vocals. If I'm recording vocals, I'm going to use 1 channel. We use 1 microphone. If I'm recording acoustic guitar, for the most part, I can just use 1 microphone, or I could record 2 microphones at once, which would be in stereo. If I'm recording piano, I can use 2 microphones if I want to. The only situation that I've found that I need more than 2 inputs for recording is when I'm recording a drum set. But in this series of videos, the Recording Academy, I'm going to be using just 2 inputs. I'm going to show you how to record the drums with just 2 microphones. If you need more than 2 connections or 2 preamps, you need to look at probably the 8-channel audio interface. Now the Scarlett range from Focusrite, they also come in a version that has 8 channels, but that's going to be significantly more expensive than just a 2-channel. If you're somebody that mainly does a lot of MIDI virtual instruments and possibly just a vocal on top, a 2-channel audio interface is certainly going to get the job done for you. You can tell how many inputs an audio interface has simply just looking at how many microphone ports are on the back of this device. So the Scarlett 2i2 on the back, it has 2 microphone connections on there. So if I take this standard microphone XLR cable, I can simply plug into channel 1, and then the other end of this device will plug into a microphone. Now it can record audio through it. Some audio interfaces, like the Apollo Twin, they use these combination jacks. So you can actually plug a microphone cable into this. And you can also plug in the same port, you can plug your guitar cable if you want to record something that's high impedance. Now on the Scarlett 2i2, you can also plug your guitar straight into the device. So when we're recording bass guitar, you'll see me plug into this spot that's on the front of the Scarlett 2i2. It's still channel 1 and it's still channel 2. So these are not channels 3 and 4. They're still sharing. So when you get a 2-channel audio interface, you can record 2 instruments or 2 microphones at one time. Now next we want to talk about the gain knobs or the preamps on audio interfaces. So a lot of audio interfaces are moving the route of digitally controlled microphone preamps. So you'll see on the Apollo Twin, I just have this 1 knob. This 1 knob can control channel 1. It can also control channel 2. You can also control the preamps on the software program if you want to go that route. On the Focusrite Scarlett, these knobs will turn for, these are infinity knobs. You can just sit here and turn them all day long. It doesn't change anything because these are software controlled preamps. Once they're plugged in, when we're getting a signal, if I'm not getting a loud enough signal for the microphone, whatever I'm recording, I can either be louder. If I'm singing a vocal, I can sing louder, or if I don't want to sing louder, I can just turn up the gain knob and that'll give me a healthier signal. Focusrite has a neat way of telling you if your signal's good or not by using different colored LEDs. You'll be able to see the colors of them. If you ever get red, that means you have clipped. You don't want to clip your signal, so you want to make sure that your gain structure is correct. Gain structure is essentially how loud is the signal going into your device. The next feature with most audio interfaces is 48 volt phantom power. Most microphones, if they are a dynamic microphone, like the Shure SM7B, this is a dynamic microphone. It does not require 48 volt phantom power. You simply plug this microphone into your audio interface and then turn up the gain knob. If you have a condenser microphone, you will need to look for the 48 volt switch on your audio interface. Sometimes it's a little dip switch, or like in the Apollo Twin, it is a digitally controlled switch. You can just turn on 48 volt phantom power. Essentially, this gives juice to your microphone, your condenser microphones. You flip that switch and now the condenser microphone has plenty of room. Most of the time with condenser microphones, because they're getting the 48 volts of phantom power, you don't have to turn up condenser microphones as much as you have to turn up dynamic microphones. Next, we can talk about monitoring. So with all audio interfaces, you're gonna have basically outputs for your speakers. So you have left and right on the back. These are just basic standard speaker connections on the back. What I'm going to be using throughout the video is the headphone port. So on the front of this device, I can plug in my headphone extension cable. I can plug in my in-ear monitors or my headphones straight to this. And then I've got a knob that I can turn up or down my headphone mix of whatever I need to hear. On more affordable audio interfaces, they have this direct monitoring switch. We'll talk about that when we get to recording some music. But if you're hearing a delay when you are speaking into your microphone or you're trying to record an instrument, if you're hearing a significant delay, look for the direct monitoring switch. Or in the instance of the PreSonus AudioBox USB interface, that one actually has a mixer knob where you can blend your mix between the direct monitoring and then also the software monitoring of what's coming through the computer. So on the AudioBox, I typically set this about 50%. I'm hearing a little bit of the direct signal, enough for me to record, and then I'm hearing the stuff that's coming from my computer. With the Scarlett 2i2, it does a great job of, you can just hit this direct button switch, and just like that, you'll be able to hear as if you're talking in real time. No latency, you'll be able to hear exactly what's being recorded, which is a great feature. Now the Scarlett 2i2 has some added features that I'm not gonna go into in this Recording Academy. It has basically a presence lift with an air switch, and then it has this auto gain feature, which is super handy. It'll basically give you a 10-second timer to where you can sing into your microphone. You sing for a substantial amount of time, and then it will set the gain level at the most optimal level for you. Now, throughout the Recording Academy, my goal is to inform you on how to set the gain structure yourself. But if your audio interface has the auto gain feature, I see no reason why you shouldn't make use of the auto gain feature as often as you can. So when you're ready to turn on your audio interface, for most of them out there, you're just gonna take your USB-C cable, plug it in. You should see the lights come on. When the lights come on, that tells you your audio interface is ready and you are ready to start recording. Now, throughout the Recording Academy, whenever we're recording acoustic guitar, vocals, whatever it may be, I will, of course, give you a shout out anytime I'm reaching for the audio interface to make tweaks or adjustments or to plug something in. But generally, that is an overview of the audio interfaces. They come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. If you need recommendations, go back to the gear guide that is available at therecordingschool.com/gear. With that being said, we'll move on to the next video where we're going to talk about setting up software for recording. Now there are many other videos here on my channel other than the Recording Academy, but make sure you check the playlist for Recording Academy for more lessons as they're being uploaded. YouTube is recommending this video just over my shoulder, so give that one a watch and I'll see you at the next video.